Hello, this is John Birmingham, and I'm going to tell you something really, really important. I'm going to show you my email that I sent to somebody about this. Okay, now this is about vitamin D deficiency. It's very common, and it can cause all these problems if you let it go for too long. It can lead to serious problems. You should get your vitamin D levels up. All kinds of other diseases and stuff if you don't get your vitamin D levels up. And it's as simple as supplementing with vitamin D, going in the sun more, stuff like that. If you don't want to go in the sun more, well, the sun is the best quality vitamin D that you can get, but don't do that too much. You know what that can do. You know that can hurt your skin. It can hurt you or cause your skin to age, and way worse. So you don't want to get too much sun. But the best way to do it is to supplement and go in the sun a little bit. Now, here's what I found out. This will explain all of it. I wrote to Danica, so her and the kids would be okay. I sent her this. I said, read this that I sent to Krista for you to be okay. It also caused slight thinning hair. Was awful. And never in my life had thinning hair, but it caused a little bit. And then it grew all back. It looked really, really good. When I got my vitamin D levels up again, it looked really good again. And I'll tell you what happened. It caused a slight sensitivity in my leg bones and arm bones when I lifted way heavy. It was only when I lifted the 100-pound dumbbells on each arm, that's 200 pounds, holding. And, it never used to do that before, but with low vitamin D levels, it caused a slight sensitivity right in the middle of the bone on my arm or shin, and went right away when I got the vitamin D levels up. Thank God. And it had something to do with me not taking a multivitamin anymore. I used to always take a multivitamin. When Al started cooking food for me, he somehow told me that you get plenty of nutrients from the actual food and stuff, and I just didn't eat vitamin D anymore and as much, and unless it was from eggs or small sources, you don't really get quite enough when you get it from the egg yolks and small sources of vitamin D. You got to get more from the sun, and if you're not going out as much, you really got to supplement. And for almost everyone in a cold weather climate, you're going to have to supplement with vitamin D because you don't get enough sun when you're in a cold weather climate. Okay, it's really dangerous, and you can be way healthier when you get enough vitamin D. It's amazing. It's a simple fix. It's a simple thing that you do. You take it with food so it absorbs, and you take enough of it. You can't get too much. You don't want way too high levels, and this talks all about it, and I'll tell you how to do it right here. I'll just start telling you. All that got way better. My hair looked amazing again when I got my vitamin D levels up, but now I got to take more than I thought of vitamin D. Please read. I was at first getting really high doses, 8,000 international units a day, and having it with food. At first, I went very high, but you got to be careful about going very high. I took 20,000 international units a day, and you don't want to keep that going for too long. For a few weeks or more of that, it could be way too high, and then it would take another 2 months to get your levels back down again. You got to get it just right. So that's why generally when they have a recommended daily dosage of it, they exaggerate and say it a little bit on the low side, so they don't get in trouble if somebody eats too much. And they say you should have 1,200 international units or 2,000 international units. However, that amount can go down to actually getting 100 international units a day. When you're drinking here and there, alcohol lowers it. The absorption of the supplements, the vitamin D supplements, alcohol lowers it. When you're having way too much caffeine, there are some studies that show that caffeine consumption can limit the absorption of vitamin D. When you're fasting for long periods of time to get healthier, which can be very healthy when you fast, but you got to watch out for the lack of nutrients, and especially if you're drinking caffeine, which is a diuretic, and other things that you have to take notice of, like not just having the vitamin D supplements on their own with water. Some of them you can kind of absorb a little bit, but you're not absorbing all of them. You might eat 10,000 international units of it, and you only absorbed 400. without food. You got to eat it with a meal so it really absorbs in the fat in the food, and have plenty of food when you do eat it so it gets absorbed. And I suggest the gummies. They taste good, and you're getting some food with it. And the health benefits you'll get will be so immeasurable compared to being vitamin D deficient that the calories from the gummies are not going to hurt that much, unless you're diabetic, have a pre-existing condition, because they do have sugar. They have some vitamin D you can get, whichever one you prefer the best. I like eating the supplements that are gummies, and if you want, they have no sugar added gummies. You can find them on Amazon or at your grocery store. Likely, if you live in an okay enough city that has like more grocery choices. And that's how you get the vitamin D supplements, or go out in the sun a little bit more. But the sun may or may not be enough, especially if you live in a cold climate. People usually get vitamin D deficient in the winter, and that can cause a lot of health problems if it goes on for too long, including thinning hair, weakness of bones, other stuff that can lead to real diseases that I don't even want to mention. You don't want to let this go for too long. So I said being sick made it difficult to diet and eat right and work out properly, because the first time I was vitamin D deficient, I got sick 20 times. I kept getting sick. I couldn't figure out what it was. Any slight, like a little bit too cold, with a little, like not being warm enough with the way I was dressing, like having my chest exposed, would make me sick. Or a slight smell of something burned would make me sick, and it would last for hours, sometimes all day. And it happened again and again and again. It happened 20 times, and my hair was not looking as good, and other stuff, like when I lifted the way heavy weights, I felt a sensitivity in my bones, but not any other time, I think. And so thank God I figured out what it was early. Thank God I figured out what it was early. So this is amazing to know. You don't want to accidentally have this stuff happen, which could, really have a negative effect on someone. So you want to get vitamin D and eat it with food. And this is how much to eat. Okay. Being sick made it difficult to diet and eat right and work out properly, and that also affected me with weight gain. I got out of shape a little bit, not that bad, gained a couple of pounds. I was unable to get way more athletic like I was getting. That was this more recent time. That was in the past week when it happened again to a lesser amount. Because I had lost 23 pounds and had been very heavy from a lot of stuff that happened, stress, etc. Vitamin D deficiency was one of the things that made it difficult to work out when I kept getting sick. I'm okay again now, and just ordered $200 worth of quality vitamin D gummies and other vitamin gummies like B vitamins and multivitamins. Can't eat too much, have to get the levels right. You can't just have 50,000 or 60,000 international units a day, unless it's like maybe the first day when you're very deficient. And then, I wouldn't suggest it though, because you got to do it appropriately so you don't do anything wrong. But I did that the first day. I had about 60,000 international units right now. And I doubt that's going to get my levels up that much eating at one time with plenty of food. And tomorrow I'm going to have about 20,000. Then the next day I may have like 8,000. Then back down to about 8,000 a day I think I can have. And the real recommended daily amount is 4,000 international units. And I said, people like us, Danica, who don't go out in the sun a lot, well, she goes out in the sun more than I do. I think I wasn't going out in the sun for a while. So I want to go out there more often. And I think that made it so that when I had the recommended 1,200 IU a day from the multivitamin, it wasn't enough, because I wasn't like a regular person who was going out there every day a little bit. So, and these other factors, I was every few days or a week or two, for only a week or two, I had some alcohol again. I hadn't had it in a long time. I had some alcohol, and that depletes your body of vitamin D. and I was fasting to lose weight because I had gotten heavy, and that caused me to get sick, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, what? I was having enough vitamin D. I was having the 1200 IU a day from the multivitamin, and it wasn't enough. I was really actually getting like 100 IU a day or 400 IU. They call it something else, MCG or something like that. Micrograms or something. I don't know what it is. But I'm going by the international units. 30,000, 20,000, 15,000, something like that. 30,000 generally too high. So I wrote to Krista about it, my sister. I said 4,000 is the general normal amount for most human beings. But if you skip a day or get low one day, or say like you didn't eat it with enough food and water, you have to have it with food and water, then it didn't absorb all the way, or you had alcohol, or fasted for a while, or had too much caffeine, or didn't go out in the sun at all, you may need more than 4,000. You have to watch this thing. So I suggest a little bit more. Maybe about 4,000 is good, because then if it goes down to what some professionals say, 2,000 is enough, or 1,200 is enough. If you're getting 4,000, that should be enough. But you don't want to OD, because then it can cause you to get sick too, and that takes 2 months to get better from, to get your levels back down again if you get them too high. So you don't want to take like 50,000 international units, and they have studies on it. You don't want to take 50,000 international units a day. They have studies on it where people did stuff like that. It took them about 3 weeks, and their levels were way high, and it took them 2 months to get back down again. So it's a funny thing where if you don't, it takes a while to get them back up. It took me 2 months to get my vitamin D levels back up, really, to where I wasn't getting sick anymore, and my hair started looking a lot better. It took 3 months or 4 after that to really my hair growing to look good, and yeah, and the bone sensitivity went away. So I sent this message. You can read it if you want. Some people say you can have 7,500 international units a day. I suggest 4,000 to be safe every day on average. Unless you're a child, you should get less. So I wrote her these messages. And that's it. You especially need it if you're not going outside a lot, or if you live in a cold climate. It can lead to some bad stuff. It can make your immunity low, and then you could get COVID-19 or something like that, and then your body's immunity is so low. See, that's what happens when the vitamin D is that low. It makes your immunity low. That's why you get sick more easily. And if I got COVID-19, likely would have killed me, I think. Or I don't know. I'm pretty sure it would have killed me. And so when I got my levels way up, I was like, okay, I can finally get the vaccine. I didn't get the vaccine because I knew my vitamin D levels were low. And now they're slightly lower, but I don't know how low. I don't feel that bad, but I got borderline sick about 3 times. It lasted a few hours and felt weak until I was like, wow, it really made me sick again. But I was having 1,200 international units a day from a multivitamin, and one day I think I skipped a day. Here and there I'd have 2 instead of 1, and it wasn't high enough because here and there I was drinking alcohol. I was fasting a lot, drinking a lot of caffeine, and it worked as a diuretic, to take the nutrients out of my system. And that, you need way more, at least 4,000 a day. I suggest 4,000 a day to also be safe about it, because really I think people can get more than that, but not for children. Children should go in the sun more and have a safer amount, less, so they don't get too high, because they're small. They're different from an adult, from a human being. They're a human being too. They're different from from a man or a woman. They're a child. They're smaller. Their bodies are different, and they need a little bit different nutrients. But they can kind of eat like adults and have a multivitamin. But that's why they make children's multivitamins. And it's good to get some sun, but not a lot for kids. You really got to watch they don't get sunburned. That can cause problems too. So said, I love you and the kids. Bye. I love John. Okay. And when I finally got my vitamin D levels back up, it made my hair look better. It made me look and feel better. And I lost 23 pounds. This is a low angle on my face. And also I may be a slight bit vitamin D deficient. Not that much. And I ordered $200 worth of gummies. And I like eating more of the gummies. So I got the lower international units. I got ones that only had like 800 international units or 1200 international units, and I got vitamin C too. And I got the ones that only had 250 milligrams of vitamin C, so I could eat a bunch of them. You can have a lot of vitamin C usually. You can have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 for a man or woman. So I got lower, so I'd be able to eat more. I like eating them, but to really get in shape, that's my one thing that I have. I don't have added sugar with anything else pretty much, and I can get in amazing shape, but not when you're vitamin D deficient. You'd be getting sick. It'd be really, really hard to do. So you want to get your vitamin D levels good so you can feel way healthier and way better. Your hair will look better. Likely your hair will look better, I think. It may affect people in a little bit different ways. You won't be as susceptible to getting disease. Your immunity will be way up or better. And B vitamins too. I got some B vitamin gummies, vitamin C, some other vitamin gummies. And they're all going to show up here. Now, it's not the healthiest. Some people may eat regular pills and eat it with food, but then you got to eat it with more food and stuff. And so that's my one added sugar I have is a few little gummies. It's not going to hurt anyone that bad. And I'm going to get in amazing shape. Now that I figured out, this second time it started happening again. I was gaining a few pounds I couldn't lose. I was getting a little sick. And I was like, I didn't think it would be the vitamin D, but it's got to be higher than 1,200 international units when you're not really going out there that much in the sun. And other things like fasting and drinking coffee can work as a diuretic and make it a lot lower. And I was having a little alcohol, so you want to get more than that. You want to get 4,000 milligrams, not milligrams, 4,000 international units. And here's what it's called: vitamin D supplements. MCG, micrograms, I believe that's what that is. 1 microgram of vitamin D is equal to 40 international units. So you would need 100 micrograms to equal 4,000 international units. See? 1 microgram of vitamin D is equal to 40 international units. Now, this one, somebody asked, can I take 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 every day? In summary, long-term supplementation with vitamin D3 in doses ranging from 5,000 to 50,000 IUs a day appear to be safe. That is not correct. If you're having 50,000 a day every day, that's too much and you can overdose on it. But they still said that may be okay. Generalizing with it, assuming that you'd be having closer to 5,000 most days, but you can't really have 50,000 international units a day, or it can cause pretty bad sickness and take 2 months to get the levels back to a safe level again. So you don't want to have too much, or that can be another 2 months of trying to get them to. You don't want 50,000 a day. That's mega doses that are too much of vitamins. Could be okay with C, but it would cause diarrhea and who knows what else. So I wouldn't suggest 50,000 of C. I'd suggest 2,000 or 3,000 milligrams of C a day. And maybe up to 10,000, maybe 20,000 international units of vitamin D, and they call it vitamin D3 here. I guess vitamin D3 is generally what it's called. But I wouldn't take even 20,000 a day on average. I'd take maybe 10,000, but at first you can take a lot. You can take 20,000 to get your levels started back up, but I wouldn't do it more than a week or two. And then get down to a safer level, 4,000, 8,000, something like that. 4,000 international units a day, 8,000 international units a day. Stuff like that, between 4,000 and 10,000, I'd say. Or 15,000 might be okay. Even on average, 15,000 may be okay, but I don't know. You'd have to see. But 50,000, that's too many. 100,000, way too many a day. 50,000 a day is way too much. Maybe for like a few days. I don't know. But there are studies where it showed that people had to go to the emergency room when they did that for 3 weeks. The 50,000 for 3 weeks. 50,000 I used for 3 weeks. It was too much. No. You got to take 5,000 a day, or 8,000, or 10,000, or 4,000. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000. I taught my kids how to count. I'd like to teach the baby how to count. Hopefully I can show them about this stuff, but they should not be the ones in charge of eating the vitamins. The parents should give the kids the vitamins. You gotta be really careful with them. They're kids. And the doctor may play it safe. Doctor's advice is the best. Doctor's advice is the best, but some doctors have told people, you're gonna die. There's no way about it. You've got to die. And then the person went on and lived another 30 or 40 years. That's still their opinion as an expert. They're supposedly an expert, but it's still their opinion. And their answer is not final. I'd go to a different doctor and get a second or third opinion until you really know, okay, this will be okay. Think about it where you're having a lot of alcohol, way too much added sugar, something like that. It could be a simple fix. And a doctor does not always know and doesn't know about the details of your regular life enough to say what's going to happen. But they're an expert and they know. They actually know. But, okay. That's it. Bye. I do not look the best right now because I just was vitamin D deficient and I gained a few pounds. I haven't taken a shower. I'm feeling like I don't look the best because I haven't had vitamin D and I was sick too. Today was one of those days I was sick. 3 or 4 times I got sick. And I was like, wow, it's doing it again. Even when I was having 1,200 international units, you need more than I thought. At least 4,000 a day. At least 4,000 international units a day. Because on 1,200 or even up to, I don't know. I can't see how 2,000 would be enough unless you're a little smaller and maybe go out in the sun a little too. I don't know. So that's it. This is John Birmingham. Okay. Look at this. I feel kind of fat. Make the picture of me smaller so I don't have to see. Okay. Bye. Get vitamin D. I do not suggest 50,000. I suggest 4,000, 5,000, 8,000 a day. International units. 4,000 international units to 8,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 4,000 international units, 5,000 international units, 6,000 international units, 7,000 international units, 8,000 international units, 9,000 international units, 10,000 international units. That's a count by the thousands if my kids are watching, if the baby's watching. And all those, I'd say, are likely safe enough to eat, and you should eat it with food for a regular sized man or woman. Children, obviously, likely less than that. But, take a doctor's advice. Take a doctor's advice. So that's it. Bye. Click like in the video. Believe in God and Jesus, and you will be saved by living God's word, God's truth. How everything really is. Reality of how everything really is. Okay. Bye. Follow God and Jesus. Dear God and Jesus, please help us to do your work on earth. Be kind to others, forgive others, not blame others when it's something different than we thought. Help protect us from evil. Help us to see the truth. Help us to see your truth, God's truth, how things really are, how we're really supposed to be, how God wants us to be, how God wants us to live. To follow God and Jesus. Not be led into temptation. Not be tricked by the devil into being mean or doing the wrong things, which we didn't have to do anyway. We got the wrong idea about what we thought was important and wasn't important at all. It was wrong, meaning we had the idea, we had a wrong idea. We should have the right idea. Okay, that's it. This is serious. Vitamin D. This will help you to know. Don't get vitamin D deficient. It's a little more than you may have thought. You got to get a little higher dosage than the 2,000 or 1,200 milligrams, likely, unless you're a smaller person. Okay. Bye. You can check out more videos on my channel if you want to watch some fun, good videos or stuff on God and Jesus if you want. This is John, Birmingham. I'm going to go. Okay, bye.